Okay, hello everyone, Hawks here. And today I'm just going to be talking about Diablo 1 and 2, because Diablo 3 is so near. Okay, well, today I got up, I got on the computer, and I checked my emails, and I discovered that my Diablo 3 copy, Collector's Edition, has been shipped. And in a few days, I will have it. And you know, May 15th I'll be able to play. And it's gonna be awesome. So let's talk about Diablo 1 first. I first played Diablo 1 when I was 8 years old. Yeah, pretty young. And I loved it. It's an amazing game. Absolutely amazing. It was a great game. It's absolutely classic. I played it for a long, long time. Like, too long. I was playing that game after Diablo 2 came out, because I didn't know. And eventually I went to Diablo 2. I played that game mostly online though. Like, whereas in Diablo 2 I mainly stuck to single player because I didn't have that many friends who played it. But yeah, let's talk about some of the aspects of the game that I really like. First of all, the atmosphere. Yeah, the atmosphere, you know, anybody who's played Diablo 1 knows the atmosphere is pretty awesome. Yeah, I have Hellfire at the moment, which is the expansion to Diablo 1. Not made by Blizzard though. So yeah, the atmosphere of the game was really great. The music was really great and ominous and stuff. I didn't find the game scary. It was supposed to be a horror, I think. I don't know, it's hack and slash, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be a horror, like a scary game, but I don't find games very scary. I don't know. I don't get that. They're just not scary. So, but the atmosphere was really good. So the music and the ominous sort of eerie tone that it had, it was great. So that was one of the aspects of the game that made it awesome. And another aspect was just the bosses. The bosses were really cool. Like, the bosses' fights weren't all that amazing or anything because it's such an old game. So they weren't really complex, but they were just so cool. Like, I remember the Butcher, and like the Butcher was one of my favorite bosses. He's like the first boss you fight, more or less. And he's pretty scary. He's scary, but I don't find the game very scary. But the Butcher was one of those guys who was like made you, when you just open his door and he's like, ah, fresh meat. You just like, run! The Butcher's gonna fucking kill me.
Fresh meat.
And you just leg it, or you meet him head on and he kills your ass. No, he's not that hard, but if you face him too early, I just remember he'd like get you in these positions where he'd just hit you and you would have not fast enough like hit recovery to be able to do anything about it. You just couldn't move, like he would just kill you. And yeah, he was awesome. He was a great boss. And all the bosses are pretty awesome in Diablo. Not that there was that many. There was those special units, which are sort of like mini bosses, but they weren't really bosses. But other than that, there wasn't that many. Hellfire gave you like a couple more, which were really weird, like Nakrul. Nakrul is really cool. I remember Nakrul. He was like pretty. I remember it being really awesome. But I actually forgot. Like, I played Hellfire like once back when I was really young, and then something happened to it. We didn't have it anymore, and I came to this point where nobody knew what it was, nobody sold it, and I was just wondering whether I just imagined the whole thing and whether it never really existed. But eventually I bought it again, and like found it online and bought it. And I went, and I always remember Nakrul, and I was like, I was going up to face him, right? And there's this like sort of puzzle thing with these levers that you can do, and if you do it correctly, he's really, really weak. Like, he dies in like 2 hits. So I was like expecting this big boss fight, but I did the lever thing to open his little tomb or whatever, and then he just comes out, and I'm like, yes. And then I hit him like twice and he died, and I was like, the hell? What just happened? So I had to load it, like, and not do it correctly so that I could, you know, have a decent fight. It was very strange. But he's still pretty cool. And yeah, the other one. I actually played Hellfire recently and did videos on it, possibly on my other channel. I can't actually remember. It might have been on this channel. I think it was on my other channel. But yeah, and Diablo, of course, was the best. He was like the butcher because you open up his tomb and he just comes running out and you're just like, shit, he's gonna kill me. And he's a tough fight, tougher than the butcher, so he sort of has the weight to back that up, but yeah. And even though he doesn't give you any items, really, he's pretty awesome. And I remember hitting him was just so satisfying because he made this hilarious sound and you're just like, yes, I'm hurting him. And I actually liked that there was no health bars in Diablo 1 because you just had no idea whether they were gonna when they were gonna die. Like, you could spend like ages if you were too weak. Just spend ages like fighting Diablo or something, or kiting the butcher or whatever, and you had no idea when they were gonna die. But it is better to have health bars these days. So yeah, they had that in Diablo 2, and they'll have it in Diablo 3. So yeah, I'm really excited for Diablo 3. It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully. If it isn't, I'll be pretty disappointed. But it looks pretty awesome so far. I've watched a lot of videos and stuff. And yeah. So there were some bit glitches with I have no idea what just happened. Some very odd glitches. But other than that, you know, it was an awesome game. It really was. And Diablo 2. Diablo 2, I mean, I liked the game a lot, but I actually can't say I liked it more than Diablo 1. I really can't say that. I mean, it's a great game as well. But whether I liked it more than Diablo 1 or not, I don't know. I just like both games too much. It is a better game, but that doesn't mean I like it more. Of course, barrel smashing is one of the key components to both games. Absolutely. Now, Diablo 2. There's a few issues. Like, the saving. The way they did the saving. I know in Diablo 1 it was a bit... You could just save anywhere you wanted, and that could cause problems. Or it could make it too easy to win a fight or whatever. You just save it and just load it over and over, or you'd save it accidentally in a position that you just can't get out of, and then there'd be nothing you could do. So it was good they changed it, but I didn't like the way they did in Diablo 2. Like, you had to exit the game to save it, and if you exited, everything would reset, like all the dungeons and stuff would reset, so unless you were up to like a waypoint, you couldn't really leave, you couldn't save your game, because you would have to find your way through the levels again. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was kind of annoying, so you'd have to get up to a waypoint or something, and that would cause a few issues. So sometimes you would go for like hours without saving your game, and then like you'd have a crash or something, and you'd lose hours of stuff. I'm not sure they're gonna do the saving in Diablo 3, but I hope it's different. It's like find a compromise between the first and second game. But yeah, it was a great game. Diablo 2 was, the bosses were probably a bit better. I don't think they were as cool. I was younger when I played Diablo 1, so I was easily amused, and everything was just awesome. I just loved Diablo, like the first time I fought him. And I love the Butcher, I love the Yorick, everything was just awesome. The bosses were so cool. Diablo 2, they were still pretty cool, but they didn't have that same. Like, Diablo definitely wasn't as cool. It was so much cooler in the first one. The model was better. He looks cool in the second one, but he has this weird look to him, and he has like this massive tail, which is just weird, and he runs like a dog. It's just kind of, well, maybe not a dog, he runs like a weird sort of animal, like, yeah, I don't know, it's weird. But he's still pretty cool. He's still pretty awesome in Diablo 2. And he's a tough fight that... Yeah. The fights were kind of different in Diablo 2. The difficulty of them is hard to compare. But yeah, it was a great game as well. Really good. The cinematics and the storyline was probably somewhat better in the second one than the first one. It was harder to pay attention to in the first. I was also really young, so I actually didn't pay much attention to either of the storylines when I played either Diablo 1 or 2, because I didn't care. I was too young to care. I liked the cinematics and whatnot, but I didn't care about the story really. I didn't pay attention, I didn't listen to the dialogue. I mean, eventually I went back and did that when I got older, so I can follow the story. And I bought the Book of Cain for Diablo 3, which is actually pretty awesome. I was like, you know, I love this game so much, it's my favorite game of all time. Well, and I should get into the lore a little bit, like read up so I know the storyline and whatnot. So I went back and I played through 1 and 2. And now I actually know what happens, and I got the Book of Cain and decided to read it. It was only like 20 bucks or something, I don't know. It was cheap. And it was actually really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. And it gave me a few things to look out for in Diablo 3, so that's going to be pretty cool. I have a few theories that I'd like to see, you know, come true or whatever. Like, be right. I know there's a lot of theories out there about Imperius and Leia, which are probably correct. I actually don't like that because they're kind of important, and I actually think they're right, and it feels like a big spoiler now. I'm just like, oh, damn. And yeah, they also modeled Diablo to be, I believe, it's like a female Diablo. I don't like that because I like my traditional Diablo. Like, I love it. He's awesome. So that doesn't, I mean, I like change and I like, you know, doing things differently, but I just love my traditional Diablo too much to like that. I just, yeah. But oh well, it's not going to ruin the game for me, hopefully, anyway. But yeah. So I didn't play Diablo 2 much online, which is funny because most people did play Diablo 2 online more than they played Diablo 1 online, I assume anyway. But yeah, I just didn't have any friends that played Diablo 2 online much. I had a few, but not many. My internet was also shit. Diablo 1, I played that online so much. Back in the good old days of Dialup. Yeah, that was painful. But yeah, and in both Diablo 1 and 2, there were the hackers.
Not even death can save you from me.
Yep, the hackers. I remember this one time in Diablo 1, I was playing this game, I was level 50. Can't remember what difficulty he was on. I was with a friend, I think he was a lower level than me. I might have been running him through or something, I don't know. He came along, I mean, this PK joined. Like, this hacker, player killer came in to try and kill us. And he had God mode, and my friend was like, shit, he has God mode, he ran for his life, and I was like, I'm gonna take this guy on, like, just for the hell of it. And he was really, really weak. He couldn't die, but he was really weak, and I did the same thing to him that the Butcher does to you when you're like level 2, where you just can't move, you just keep hitting him, and he doesn't have fast enough hit recovery. And after like 15 minutes of just like hitting this guy non-stop and laughing my ass off, he quit. It was pretty funny. I was incredibly amused. I was also like 13 years old or something, so, you know, don't judge, but yeah, it was funny. I still have fond memories of Diablo 1 and all the things that happened. Alright, well, I better leave y'all to it. Maybe you can tell me in the comments some of your favorite things about Diablo 1 and 2. And I'll catch y'all next time. Hawks out.